Hello, school family. Happy Sunday. I hope you've had a great weekend. Hope you've gotten a chance to get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather and that you are ready for a new week coming up of virtual learning. Everybody did such a great job this week. I cannot say enough how thankful I am to have parents and caregivers that are getting our students on and off and making sure that they are successful. Just as a couple reminders before we get into our work of the week video, anytime on the schedule that we have, and you have a paper copy of that, but the updated version with small group times were emailed to you last week. So if you don't have that updated version printed, let me know so that I can resend it to you again, just so that there's no confusion. I want to make sure everybody is logging on when they're supposed to or coming back to the computer when they're supposed to make sure we're getting the most for the time that we're spending together. So when your student has their small group time, this has been the one part of the day I feel like has been a little bit tricky for them to navigate. They're coming for their 20 minutes of their small group when it's that live Google Meets time, and then they're going away to work on independent work. Now, last week, that independent work time looked more of like a break because it was our first week together and only a few days of doing virtual learning. Tonight, I'm also going to be sending you an independent work grid, and when we conference, we talked a little bit about that. That's going to be a grid that you fill out at your leisure. If it's during independent work time with your students and you can make that work in your schedule, fantastic. But if you can't, it is not a big deal. We want this to be flexible and we want to be able to do it when it is not in a stressful time. So if you've got time to sit down together and work on it in the moment, fantastic. If not, you're going to work on it at a later time in the evening or on the weekend or a time that works best for you. Okay, so we don't want anyone to be stressed out during that independent work time, knowing that all of our households look different and we all are trying to do the best that we can. Okay, so that's going to be coming to you later tonight in an email, and you can either just have that pulled up on the computer to look at, or you could of course print it. That might make it a little bit easier for monitoring which parts of it you're going to be getting done. Okay, so for this week, for virtual learning, we are still very strongly working on routine. So you'll notice that every morning for class meeting, there's going to be certain routines we always do. Muting the mic on and off to say good morning, and that's my way of checking attendance. We're always going to do the good morning song. There's always going to be some kind of question to get the students engaged. As the school year goes on, those are going to get definitely more in-depth, where the students' thinking can be a little bit more abstract. But for now, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible so that they're able to practice those routines and be able to do them on and off quickly. So as we continue in our day and we move to our ELA block, which is that English language arts time, and as I shared before during conferences, sometimes it's going to be shared reading, which is me reading to the students and them answering comprehension questions, and sometimes it's going to be phonics, which is the letters, sounds, how we put those together to make words, and then eventually being readers, which in some of my small groups, we may already be working toward that, or doing that already. So as we're moving through and the year is continuing to progress, you are going to see kind of a timeline of how these things change. But in the beginning, we want to keep it basic so that we're really getting a strong foundation for that virtual learning. So this week in ELA, during that ELA time, we're going to focus in on a character that I love and adore. His name is Schubert, and he is a part of our Conscious Discipline program. And I think I've talked to some families about this, but Conscious Discipline is an awesome program we use geared toward behavior management and self-regulation. So getting our students to understand that we don't have to always get upset about things. We have different strategies to be able to work through feeling really happy, or maybe feeling really frustrated, or feeling really sad. A lot of it has to do with identifying the emotion and figuring out the steps we need to take to successfully work through it instead of throwing a tantrum, crying, things like that. And I'm sure none of you can relate to your students doing that at home. Of course, I'm just kidding. But that is going to be a time that we spend a lot in the beginning of the year focusing in on it, and then we refer constantly back using the Conscious Discipline language. So all week long, we're going to be reading stories, and it's with this character named Schubert, and it's about all kinds of different things, how he sees the best in people, how he makes new friends, how when something makes him upset, he can use his big voice. So listen in for some of that, listen in for some of the language. There's some breathing strategies and things. So if you hear your student talking about Schubert, That's what they're referring to, okay? So during math this week, we're going to continue every day with that number corner. So if you've been sitting in and listening, we've been working on days of the week, months of the year, different counting activities. We're going to continue to do that, and that program will last all the way through until the end of the year. And you would think eventually students would get tired of doing those things, but they never do. The routines are always so strong, and it's something they feel confident in doing. So we do calendar, which we now refer to as number corner, every single day. And then as the school year goes on, we're going to build and build and build on some of those activities. So number corner will always happen. But then aside from number corner, we're going to start our real lessons tomorrow. So the first lesson is called One Shoe. And then we're going to build on that. So tomorrow's going to be all about attributes, telling the different things that the shoe has, and then students are going to be able to do the same thing with their own shoes, and then we're going to make some comparing and contrasting to the different things, the different attributes that are a part of the shoe. A lot of the math standards are an overarching concept, and we use multiple different activities to figure out how to get to that main goal. So this week it's going to be focusing on attributes, but we're going to look at that in lots of different ways. But tomorrow, starting out with using shoes. So you might want to have that in the back of your mind in case your students' shoes are packed away somewhere tight or they don't have them readily available. We will be taking some time at some point to go grab a shoe and come back to the computer. Okay, so keep that in your back pocket if you need it. So like I talked about before with small group time. So this is ability based. So our groups are broken down on what our students need or areas where there needs to be acceleration. So as our students come to small group during those 20-minute sessions, they're going to be focused in on different things, which is why it is important that your student only attends the small group that's there for them. I know on Thursday I had some friends that I think were still staying at the computer, and as students were going away and coming back, I would notice, boom, they would pop and just appear there right away when it was time for their small group. We want them to have that break away from the screen. So unless it's their small group time and I'm calling them to be with me, they should be taking that screen time break and going and working on something else, or just truly having a break from the computer. Specials. So I know some parents were having no problem at all getting their students logged on for special, because remember, when you're getting on with me, you're using K-Walk or 6K. But then when you're getting off with me at the end of the day, you're logging into your student special at 2 o'clock. So during specials time, you want to use the nickname for your specials teacher. The original hard copy I gave you did not have the librarian's nickname on there. The digital copy that I emailed you does. So just make sure you take a look back at that so that you don't have any confusion when it comes to getting them logged on for special, because this is going to be a full week. So they'll be on every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's that asynchronous day, and then Thursday, Friday. Okay? And then remember, at the end of the day from 3 to 4, and then earlier in the day from 1:30 to 2, I am available live on the computer for check-in. If there's something that you're confused about, or something that you just have a question about, or you're wondering, please feel free to reach out, jump on, call me, text me, email me, whatever you need to do. That is my time that I'm there for you as I'm planning and preparing for other activities for our students to do. Okay? So I hope everybody has a great week. Some of you I know I will see you on bright and early tomorrow morning. I know I will see all of my students on. We had a great 2 full days last week, and I know this week is going to be great as well. So I will be sending this in email very shortly, and then I will also be sending the independent work grid this evening for you to complete with your students at your leisure throughout the week. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Sunday. Have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah.